How is it going then, everybody? I hope you're all doing very well. Welcome back to another video here on our channel. I'm the FIFA Analyst, and today we're going to be analysing the FIFA 21 pitch notes that did get released by the dev team over at EA. I did release my reaction to the trailer that was released last week, but then shortly after me doing that, EA came and gave us this big, long document going into a lot more detail about what we can expect from FIFA 21, how it has worked on FIFA 20, and what they've changed to hopefully try and make the game better. If you do enjoy the video, please let me know by leaving a like. You can subscribe to the channel. If you do want any of your sneak gear, do remember FIFA Analyst at checkout to go ahead and support me. Right then, diving into the pitch notes. Now, we are going to go through pretty much most things. Some things I may go through quicker than others, and other things we will go through and dive down. So, hey FIFA community, welcome to this year's dive into some of the changes and updates going into FIFA 21. First of all, we hope you're staying safe and being a very interesting year for us, and we're wishing you and your families all the best as we navigate through the summer months and into the launch. As you see below, there are multiple features to go through on FIFA 21 based on community feedback. We want to give you as much context into these changes as possible. Now, first of all, I'm going to give EA a lot of credit, a lot of praise to say well done for reading, listening to, if it's posted on Twitter, YouTube videos like mine, Stallions, whoever, whatever it is, anyone that's releasing any sort of feedback to the game and EA trying to take it on board. Well done here for trying to, give us that sort of response. Brilliant. The only thing I ask, if anyone is watching this from EA, when the game does drop, please maintain that communication, that feedback, looking at our feedback from everyone, not just from pro players, not just from content creators, from your average Joe, all right? We need to make this game better, we need to have that constant feedback loop, which I know it's something that EA tried this year, and it will be good if we can hopefully do it better when we go into FIFA 21. So I'm going to go past all of these because that's just telling you what you've got. I did talk to you about the new Agile Dribbling, which EA have gone and added into FIFA 21. Let's dive in and talk about it a little bit more. So instead now, what's going to happen, how you're going to be using it, is you're going to be using the R1 button. As you can see, he's holding the R1 button and he's using the left stick to kind of, move the ball around. Now, this is no different than, like, say, crab walking in a sense. Like, the difference is that he's got the ball a lot closer to his feet and he's moving it around, as you can see, sign on the ball, moving it very quickly. Let's kind of go through and see what EA have said about it. Agile Dribbling is a brand new way to keep the close control of the ball in FIFA 21. Inspired by some of the best dribblers in real life, Agile Dribbling is intended to give you the ability to quickly move the ball from side to side to help dribblers get away from defenders, and to use fast footwork to help create space by tricking defenders into overcommitting to tackles. One of our biggest goals is to make dribbling a balanced matchup for the jockey mechanic. The intention is to design a dribbling system that's more explosive, agile and fluid, whilst ensuring that it remains similar to what is seen on the real life pitch. To perform Agile Dribbling, hold R1 on PlayStation, RB on Xbox, while moving the left stick, and you notice the dribbler moving the ball with rapid and precise touches. Every player in the game can Agile Dribble, however, higher players' dribbling, agility, reactions, and ball controls attributes, the quicker, more precise, and better they will be at keeping the ball at their feet. So you go and grab Charlie Austin from West Brom, he can do this, he's not going to do it very well. You go and grab Neymar, he's going to do this very slick and very accurate, which is what you would expect to see from football. Now, first of all, what do I think about it? FIFA 20, Stallion made a great video on it, that FIFA 20 is a lot like basketball. It's very much a one-on-one scenario, right? You get the ball out to the right wing, or you get the ball up to the centre-back, to the striker who's up against the centre-back, and it's about that one-on-one, that quick turn to be able to get that shot off. There's loads of one-on-one scenarios, and that's how basketball is. It's, can you beat your man, or are you going to lose the ball, one or the other? This is another way to hopefully help you beat your man. I think this by itself isn't the greatest, right? I don't think you can just use this and just boom, you'll get past someone. Your silver gold 3 defenders, maybe so, but any top tier defenders are still going to be able to know that he's not going to get past you with just this. This added in with another skill move could be very, very strong, right? By the looks of it. Keep the ball at the feet, lay it off one way, quick elastico, past the man, bang, you're in behind. That's where I think it can work really, really well. Saying that, this is either going to be very strong, or you're not going to see it at all. I don't think there'll be a middle ground. I really, really don't. It'd be interesting to see Kurt's stance on this. Kurt0411, a lot of you know him. Fantastic FIFA player. One of the best dribblers on this game I have ever seen and witnessed. I would like to know what he thinks of this. Kurt just uses the left stick to dribble. He doesn't use any of the strafe dribbling, the crab walking, whatever you want to call it, keeping the ball close to his feet, whatever it may be. He just uses the left stick, and he's phenomenal at it. So it'd be interesting to see what he thinks of this. We're also introducing contextual agile dribbling. The mechanic is optional, but is enabled by default. I'm going to go to this because it's one thing that worries me. When enabled, it will make your players automatically perform agile dribblers in certain situations. For example, when in a one-on-one situation against an opponent, this mechanic can be turned off in controller settings on screen. More info on the settings screen below to achieve a more dynamic dribble. Regardless of the techniques you are using, we also improve player agility and animation transitions when performing left stick dribbling and strafe dribbling using L1, LB as introduced last year. I'm going to go on to that in a little bit. Let's talk about creative runs. I did talk about this in the video and showed you how it works and what you're going to need to do. In FIFA 21, we want to make sure you have more control over your attacking AI players' move. How your attacking AI players move. With creative runs, we've introduced new options to influence your AI teammates move off the ball and providing more creative ways to break down your opponent's defense. Directed runs, you can now take full 360-degree control over the direction of the runs of your teammates by flicking the right stick after triggering a run. L1, LB, then flick the right stick after calling a teammate short. R1, R1, RB, right stick. So, what does this essentially mean? Down here, you can see you tap L1, you then use the right stick, and then you're going to, send the person on a run. I'm going to get my epic pen up here just to kind of talk you through it. Now, I did see someone tweet saying, you're giving us control, but they only run in a straight line. So, if I say grab here, we're going to send a Salah on a run. We flick him like that. He's only going to run like that. And that is a very, very valid point, because when he makes this run, if I flick it in this direction like that, is he only going to run like so, or is he going to make a little bit of a curve run? It is a very valid point. I can't remember who it was. It was just someone I saw on my timeline. It's something that I want to kind of keep an eye on. But also, the next thing that we can go is that you can take control of, say if you lay the ball off here, you can take control of this player, that Bobby Firmino. Or say with a Salah, you could let Bobby Firmino be controlled by the AI and you make the run with a Salah. So then you can make your run arced if you want. It doesn't have to be in a straight line. I still think it's a massive step in the right direction. I personally think if this is executed well, if there's no delay, this will help the drop back, the boring meta, sit and defend with your CDMs. Reason being, I can't pause this image, which is a bit of a shame. Reason being, when someone makes a run, a defender has to track him or go to the ball holder. If he doesn't track him, like you can see here, he doesn't track him. What happens? There's a little bit of a gap. They both get sucker punched into the ball holder. Salah's then got loads of space. That's where making these runs is so good. Now, that means that as a defender, hopefully it reduces the rely on the AI, because you've got to be able to right stick switch. You've got to be able to L1 switch, LB. You've got to be able to say, is this run a threat? Do I need to track it? Or can I quickly go and snatch the ball off the opponent? Be interested to see how these do. Directed pass and go. Decide where your teammate makes the run after a pass by immediately flicking the right stick in the desired direction. This feature works with any type of pass. Directed pass and go. Decide where your teammate makes the run after a pass by immediately flicking the right stick in the direction. I'm just going to see how this works, actually. Okay, so you flick it straight away. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so it's a similar sort of concept, I suppose, isn't it? You can have up to 5 players. This is an interesting one, by the way. They don't want to make it so that you can do it over and over and over again. You can only have 5 people doing this at the same time, so you couldn't send 9 people on those runs, which is interesting, actually. Be interesting to see, is it the first 5? Not sure. Player lock, pressing both sticks. So left stick, right stick, click them in at the same time to lock your current player when in attack. When you are locked to a player and pass the ball, the CPU AI will take control of the on-ball player, allowing you to move off ball. As you can see, he's not controlling the man on the ball. He's controlling the man here, which is a very, very interesting. I think this could be a very, very good way for you to... Say you're in on a one-on-one situation and you've got the sweat option, but your guy's making a stupid run. You can quickly, hopefully, switch to them or something like that and make it better, which would be really, really good. The one thing that I said in the video last week, one thing that I was concerned with was how long you could hold that player for. How long can you not hold it? And I think, did they say in here, for all these mechanics, there is a limited time window for you to trigger the direction of the run in order to prevent conflicts with skill moves, knock-ons, and player switching. As such, the sooner you can form the right stick flicking, the better you have to chance to pull it off. Make sure to practice to get the timing right. So it doesn't say how long you can actually, control this guy for, but there is a time limit before you start doing skill moves, which is an interesting theory. What I'm concerned with then, what about if you do want to do a quick skill move and you don't it's not going to register that you're controlling, because you lay a pass off to someone, that second, you can't do a skill move, you can't do a ball roll. Shouldn't they have made it so that, like, if you hold L2, they should go back. It used to be hold L2, LT for a skill move. Maybe they should have gone back to that to stop that interference, because now I like to play the pass to an opponent, like to my player, striker, and I might do a quick ball roll. I'm not going to be able to do that straight away, am I? That's an interesting one. That'll be interesting to see how that does. Positioning personality. I mean, this one a little bit meh. In FIFA 21, we're focused on adding deeper AI player personality in positioning, both offensively and defensively, to ensure that his ability, the footballer's greatest players on the virtual pitch, matches up to their real-world counterparts. We want players who are tactically aware to have a bigger impact in FIFA by being in the right place at the right time to shoot, pass, or block the ball. While we made a lot of improvements throughout multiple areas of the AI positioning system, we want to focus our explanation on a few specific behaviours that will showcase the personality and the depth of this system. Do you want to know the one thing that concerns me with all this? Pay to win gets bigger. You got some of the best players in the game that have these better stats, which means that their positioning personality is going to be better, whether that's attacking in an AI sense, that they stay on side, they don't run offside, whether it's a CDM, moving to cover the passing lane, whether it's a Bobby Firmino there dropping off the striker to get into space. If you're running a Marcus Rashford, I mean, to be fair, he's not bad, is he? Let's give you another example. Jay Rodriguez, you're not going to get the same results, are you? Two main attributes and dictate how good players will be these behaviours: positioning and attacking personality, and defensive awareness for defensive personality. So it's based on those particular stats. So, when we look at stats on Ultimate Team, when we look at the card and go, oh, their attacking and positioning's bad, this would, the positioning there would influence how good they are at keeping themselves on side, which is good to know. By how much? 99 positioning, what does that mean? Does that mean they're never going to go offside? 84 positioning, what does that mean? I'd like to know a bit more numbers here, to be honest. If they said, if you have 50 and below on the positioning, you are 25% more likely to be offside in an attacking build-up. If you have 74, 90 positioning, whatever it is, you are 4.3%. There's got to be percentages. Give me percentages. I want to know. Attacking and positioning attribute. The position attribute, maybe I might prove myself wrong here, can impact many elements of attacking personality. The specific behaviours below, according to players' attribute. This means that an attribute of 85 might feel good and have opponents, but significantly is better at 99. Yeah, but by how much? By how much? You're saying that 90 is higher than 85 and 99 is higher than 90. I know that. I know how numbers work. By how much? Extra 9 points. What does that do for me in game? Show me. You're saying here positioning low, positioning high. You can see here the guy that's low. What's low? What's low to you and what's low to me could be completely different. You might think that 84 is low. I might think 64 is low. So what's low? I'd like to be able to see that a bit more. This behaviour will be overridden when using fast build-up tactics or getting behind, as the intent there is to focus. Okay, so that's an interesting one. So if you keep finding your players are getting offside and you're running fast build-up or getting behind, don't run it, basically. Interesting. Passes, readiness, runs. Understanding of when the ball process is ready to make the pass so the player can time their run perfectly. High attribute players. One thing that worries me with this? How does the game know when I'm going to pass? And what happens if they try their hardest to keep themselves on side and they judge it wrong? There's a right back that's 2 yards ahead and he's trying to stay in line with a centre back. Hopefully not. Hopefully it is a perfect thing, but I don't imagine it is. Decision-making, time and intelligence, the ability to make faster and accurate decisions on when and where to move. Higher position attribute players will decide to move quicker and smarter. Passing lane, I think all of this sort of stuff, to be honest, is wishy-washy. But because you just kind of get to it, and because there's no, you don't probably won't see it in game that much. So I think it's very hard to say, really. Interesting one, but you can see here how he drops off. I noticed this. I spoke to Corey B on Twitter, good streamer. Go drop him a follow. I noticed this. This is an interesting one. So I like this a lot. He drops off the attacker, the defender. Brilliant striker movement. It's what they would do in real life. Love it. He shoots across goal and he scores. In FIFA 20, you take a touch here and you go near post. So I'm hoping this is a spark of a new shooting balanced mechanic. At the minute, they haven't said anything about shooting, which does worry me, but we'll see. Ideal crossing positioning, understanding the best open space in a box to beat defenders during dangerous and in-play crossing situations. This does not apply to set-piece players. Very similar. It's just trying to make attacking AI smarter. So this year, what attacking AI would do is they'd run, and they'd go to the goalpost, and they'd go doing, and then they'd drop back. And that was all they would do. They had no common sense to them whatsoever. They were woeful. They were terrible. Even though all of this to me is very much wishy-washy, as I said, I'm happy to see something about it. They've acknowledged attacking AI is dreadful. They're trying to make it better. How much better? We won't know until we play the game. Defending awareness, attribute impact. This run tackling ability, defensive awareness can impact defending personality. Safely emotion book with. Okay, ability to track and anticipate one before it happens with highly aware. This worries me. This does. You got to find the right balance of the game, because you only control one player, two at most, if you argue second man press in a sense. You've got to find the balance of the game helping you because you can only control one or two players and not making it too helpful to encourage you to defend manually. All this sort of stuff. You've got to be able, sorry for I'm trying to think about what I say here. You've got to be able to have the right balance. If someone's got a Vieira and a Hullet and a Maldini and a Ferdinand, how much is this all going to be boosted for them? And you could sit there and argue, yeah, but attacking AI, you're saying make attacking AI better. Why shouldn't defensive AI get the same boost? Well, because it nullifies itself. Attacking AI, you are limited in what you can make happen in attack because you're controlling the guy on the ball. When you're defending, you can actually switch between the whole back four and the two CDMs, the 6 players that you need to defend with, in the space of 6 seconds. Let's say a second to switch, and then you jockey, a second to switch. In attack, you're controlling the guy on the ball and the guy on the ball only, apart from now they've added the new feature in. So you need some movement from other people. You need your attacking AI to go, I'm not going to run into the post, I'm going to make sure I stay inside. They've got to have some brain to them. Now, I'm not saying the defensive AI should just sit there and stand still, but they shouldn't go and track the runs so much. It's a hard thing to explain, and without sitting there and playing it, we don't know how much this is going to do, right? All I'm saying is, please don't make it so that a guy can sit there with his Kante, run through the middle, jockeying like this, and not touch his defenders, and not touch the left back, and not trap the runner, and not trap the little 1-2 in the middle, and he carries on jockeying with Kante. Give us a balance. If someone doesn't switch to that defender, they should get punished for it. So all of this, I can't really comment until I've played the game, all right? I can't really comment. Like this here, you look at this, and what do you think should happen here? Like, you sit here and you tell me, bearing in mind, this person was controlling this player, and then he switches as he tackles. No. He shouldn't move over. That left back should stay there. It's up to him to switch from that CDM and spot the danger that he's in on goal and go and cover it. But instead, the game says, oh no, attacking, defending positioning, the left back in real life would do that. Yeah, fantastic. That guy's beaten. That CDM's pretty much out the game. Switch to him, hold R1 so that he will keep the second man press on. He will keep pressing that ball. He'll keep chasing him. And you move over manually. Don't reward someone for going, oh, no, I'm going to stick with my Kante. I'll stick with my Kante and the game will defend for me. No! You let me know anyway, I suppose. Smoother encounters. This is a funny one. This is basically EA saying FIFA 20... we messed up. Look at the little bounces. I mean, it's funny that they rip off. They're basically saying FIFA 20 was whack by the amount of footage they show you here. Again, this sort of thing, being honest with you guys, I can't comment and say, yeah, it's going to be great. We all know. They've been trying to make this better for the years. If they do and it gets right, brilliant. I don't know though. It'd be interesting to see. I like the fact that they've tried to acknowledge it though, and really tried to, make it a bit more fair. Like there, you can see doesn't win the ball here, comes out with the ball. So good to see on that. Enhance. See, I'm not bothered about that. That's all to do with offline game mode and AI and stuff. I'm really not too bothered about that. Headers. In FIFA 20, this is an interesting one actually. Headers needed to be much better in my opinion this year, and they're trying to do that. In FIFA 20, we made the decision to make heading less effective, resulting in less goals being scored from headers as a part of our efforts to promote skill, differentiation, and the idea that most other goals are scored a direct result of player actions. Now, this is because FIFA 19 headers were too strong. What makes me kind of laugh here is the fact that they say we made heading less effective. Okay, but again, how much? What is the number here? And what are you doing to make it better? Is there a number that you're increasing it by? Is it going to go back to FIFA 19 standards? I don't know, but I'd like to see it. In FIFA 21, to improve the viability of scoring headers while keeping a skill gap in the game, we are introducing manual heading. To enable this option, a player would set the assisted headers option to off, as detailed later in the article. Okay, manual heading means that you control the power and you control the direction. Still doesn't mean that... Are you telling me, basically, that if this was introduced this year, heading could have been a viable option again? Because all you've done is just said, the game's not going to assist you. What it's saying this year, in my opinion, is that it's unassisted this year. You head the ball, the game's coded to make you miss. Why? I mean, you've got to find the percentage. If someone's got 99 heading, 99 jumping, 90 composure, and they've got a pretty decent heading chance, and as long as the defender around them's not going to beat them to the ball, they should be putting that on target. But instead this year, they don't. So does that mean that when we shoot, even though you've got those stats on that card that says this is how good this person is at heading, you've coded the game to make them miss? Don't really know how that works in my opinion, but be interesting to see, I suppose. All of that, by the way, the interesting thing here is that all of this will be off. You have to have manual heading online. So foot champs, foot rivals, squad battles, all that sort of stuff. Defending, again, we've kind of gone over this. They've reworked the shoulder challenge when you hold L2 and you come over. When I always talk to you about, when you go on a 50-50 and you're side by side, use the L2 button to shield and kind of, come over and take the ball off them. Interesting one. Now, this I did not want to see. We're excited to be refreshing blocking in FIFA 21. The team has completely rewritten the blocking system and added it to control technology, creating more reliable and realistic blocks when defending shots and passes. To ensure the contrast between good and the best players, we added player personality via their attributes to make the system is balanced. A player's attribute will determine the effectiveness of a block, how far away a ball the player can block, and how long it takes to start the block animation. How well you can react and transition into a different block animation if something changes, and how long it takes to recover from a block. Basically, Van Dijk, you're not going to be able to get past him because he's going to block and he's going to be back up on his feet in the next half a second and he's going to be up there to block again. I did see on Twitter though, which gives me a little bit of hope. Apparently, they've only tried to make this effective if you are controlling that said player. When you've got their right back that comes like Superman 5 yards across the box and says, I'm going to block this, and he dives with his head, his arms out here, his legs behind his back, and he does a scorpion kick off the line. That they're trying to get rid of, which is great. However, make it so if someone wants to block a ball, unless it's directly in front of them, they have to input a command. Make them press the tackle. I wouldn't have it as a tackle button personally in case it gives away a penalty. Make it a different button inside the box. Whatever it is, they have to press a button for them to input a blocking animation. If the ball is right in front of them and someone tries to shoot through them, that's obviously, a player's going to block that without even meaning to, But if it's 5 yards away, and I tried to block the ball, and that person has an input command, that's where it's wrong, in my opinion. Passing. The goal for this year is to create a more intelligent passing game. The main focus here is to improve the passing system by adding a better understanding of space and the opponent's position in order to pass towards the target that makes the most sense for the receiver in that situation. Yeah, I've seen that this year. Through passing, this system was rebuilt from the ground up to improve possible pass targets, receiver selection, and increase player personality. Player personality. I might just start saying I've got a player personality. In addition, new concepts were introduced like pass openness, providing smart passers with the ability to open up by the pitch and leading the receiver away from the opponents. Pass complexity, new passing trajectories and targets are possible, allowing for killer through balls that will put the receiver in a great scoring opportunity. One thing this year, I've always said through balls through the middle don't really work because of how deep people sit anyway. One thing that does concern me, I don't like the fact that EA haven't spoke here about tactics, about the pure issue with how bad the game is coded this year in terms of how deep everyone sits, how defensive it is. I would like to have seen a bit more about that and how they've done their best to improve it. Looking at the gameplay, I think it seems the same sort of tempo as FIFA 20. If it's the same sort of tempo with the same tactics applied, it's still going to be a slow game and it's still going to be defensive. So these sort of passes wouldn't make a difference if every man is inside the box and you can't actually thread a through ball through the middle. Yeah, you can thread them down the line, but you can't thread them through the middle. Crossing, they've added, the whip crosses and the driven crosses, ground crosses already been in there, but there's new crossing trajectories, which basically means that angles that they never used to do before, they've added them in now, okay? Interesting one. We'll see how it goes, I suppose. They've now added in a semi-assisted. We updated this to bring it more in line with other semi-assisted works, making it more manual, less assistance than previous FIFA titles, but allowing more rewarding to allow more control to benefit of reduced error on crosses. So it'll be interesting to see on their animation fluidity. Again, if the gameplay is not great, it's not going to do much. They've given you more control over a lot of skill moves. I'm not going to go through all of these. Skill moves now are... anyone can do a skill move. Anyone can do the top skill moves, pretty much. A Berber spin, you can do your goalkeeper. But the skill move now means how well they do it. Sorry, it's really, really hot here in the UK at the minute. I'm recording this on a Saturday and it's absolutely roasting. They've now made it so that you can hard super cancel. You know, when you send someone on a run and you try and cancel it with R1, and this year it's like spam R1. No, stop making the run, stop making the run, stop making the run. They've now made it so you can just do it this way, which is a very good way, but they could have just, they could have done that this year, because this year it's been terrible with it. But pass shot cancel, you can now cancel a shot, you can cancel a skill move when in. A lot of new things to learn here, guys, when we get into FIFA 21. Really, really good. As you can see there, he goes to do a fake shot, he cancels it with the L2R2, and then boom, straight away gets past the goalkeeper and slots that one in. You can this is what I wanted to get into, by the way. You know, we spoke about the settings earlier on. What concerns me is look at how much of this AI assistance is on as a default. Really worries me. Really, really worries me. Again, I won't be able to really comment until we get into there. So this is where the skill moves that I've spoken about on who can do what. Skill chains have now been changed a little bit. Instead of it being, I think it was from... yeah, they've increased it from 3 up to 6 for the normal skill moves. So you can do a stop and turn into a fake shot, into a heel to heel, ball roll, step over, and so on. Note the numbers are represented exactly what is laid out above and will vary slightly in other situations. For example, changing up to 6 skill moves is possible, but the value would change if one skill move was more complex. And more complex. If you try and do a elastic over that's more complex, has a chance of obviously messing up going through there. Drag back is now no longer R1, RB in the left stick. It is now L1, LB, R1, RB left stick. Just added an extra button in, obviously, because of the changes that they made to a few skill moves. R1 is now the close dribbling and not a drag back. Added player personality to drag back, making it slower for lower skill move rating players. I think there, maybe they've tried to implement a system where it's not going to be as strong, with the defenders, because a lot of people do drag back in defense as well. All access on skill moves, you can do a stop and turn, you can do a heel to heel, you can do all of this sort of stuff. Very, very interesting. Skill move cancel, you can only cancel certain skill moves. You can't cancel, say, a sombrero flick, an elastico. I don't understand so much why, but yeah. And then just going into online gameplay responsive efforts. Again, one thing that I'm happy they've acknowledged is that they've acknowledged that the skill moves are busted and that right stick switching is busted. What they're saying here is that skill moves, some people would do a heel to heel so quick the game wouldn't acknowledge it. They class it as high skilled players, very high skilled players. So when I moan about the heel to heel, I'm a very high skilled player. Get in. That's what I needed in my life. We also have examples where the right stick was getting flicked a number of times before an actual skill move is executed, causing the intended skill move not to register. This has been corrected. Improved multiple cases where no right stick switching would happen, for example, during some tackling situations or when quickly changing from offense to defense. Yep. Resolved multiple issues of unwanted auto switches. Yep. There's been times where I've had it on loose balls and air balls, and it switches automatically. It's ridiculous. Added cases where players wouldn't lock to the ball after a switch. Thank you for fixing that. Improved L1, LB switches by prioritizing players that are related to the play. So they're trying to use their brain a little bit more, where it's the guy closest to the ball. And I say that because it should be, but sometimes it doesn't do it. And in quality of life improvements, this is an interesting one. They're basically trying to they've removed the shush and the AOK foot celebration, but then they've added in more toxic ones. I don't understand. I believe I've heard you can opt out of celebrations. I don't know if that's going to be true. They've reduced the amount of time. It was 30 seconds before for kickoff to resume, a throw in to resume, a goal kick to resume. They're trying to make that better. They're trying to make them more quicker, in and out of the game, 15 minutes instead of it being 20 minutes. If you come up against someone that watches all the replays, that watches all the cutscenes, it's very frustrating. It's very annoying. Well done to EA for doing something like that. Community and competitive core feedback. This is an absolute lifesaver. I've been saying this for ages now. Make the players' arms transparent. Make them so that, it's a hologram. It goes through them at permaball. What it means is that it won't collide with the ball. If the ball is here and it goes through Van Dijk's hand, that's meant to happen. It's not going to hit the hand anymore because of handball. Some people go, but it's football. Turn handballs on. No, it's a video game. You didn't input the command to do a handball, did you? So no, turn it off. It's the best thing for everyone. Quick tactics, team press timer. I really, really like this actually. They've tried to implement a system to stop people from holding the ball in scenarios where it's just so easy for them to do it. I'm really happy that they've added this. Team press is now on a timer, which means that the team will press for... It doesn't actually say how long, I don't think. No, it doesn't. But, when you put team press on, it's the same as constant pressure, and they're on it permanently. Now it's saying they will press on demand with a cooldown timer that prevents it from being overused. So at least they're not going to... The players aren't going to be pressing all the time, which is good, because then hopefully you can win the ball back, and then if you lose it again, they don't press him automatically because the time is now, reset and they're no longer on it. So good to see there. Manual switch to offside trap player, allowing manual switch into a player that is performing an offside trap, because you couldn't do that before, so well done. Goalkeeper positioning, change goalkeeper positioning to behaviour to cover the near post in order to more consistently save near post shots. They're trying to get rid of near post finishing. Well done, EA, for that. Be interesting to see if it's a more balanced meta there going into that. Players with a lower defensive awareness attribute of reduced jockey effectiveness in order to encourage jockeying with actual defenders as opposed to forward players. So if you trap back with Mbappe, he's an attacker, he's not a defender, he's not going to be able to jockey well. Hopefully gets rid of them so much comeback on defence with all the right attacking mid and left attacking mid and all that sort of stuff. And I think that is pretty much it. Rewind is on kickoff only. Doesn't really mean anything, to be honest with you. And yeah, that is pretty much everything on that side of things. Let me know your thoughts. I'm very interested to hear it. I do want to thank you all very much for watching this video. It's been a bit of a longer one, but yeah, thank you for kind of sticking through me with it. Do look after yourselves. As I said, enjoy the video if you did enjoy it. Like the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel. We hit 80,000 subscribers. Thank you all for that. I appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.